Alright, welcome guys to another Math Simplified video. Today we'll be doing laws of exponents. Alright, so what are exponents? So exponents means repeated multiplication. So here we have an example that says 5/3, right? Over here. So what's the base? Well, the base would be the 5 over here, and then the exponents are 3. So just to let you know, the base, since we have an exponent of 3, that means that the base is going to be multiplied 3 times. So what's 5 times 5 times 5? Well, that's 125. Here we have another example that says x to the power 4, which means that x is going to be, the base is going to be multiplied 4 times. So x is multiplied 4 times here. All right, so here we have something else, which is the product rule of exponents, meaning that if we have a to the power of m times a to the power of n, we have the same base, which is a, and then instead of I don't know, like multiplying the two exponents, we just add them. Okay, so we combine the two bases and we combine the bases and we add the exponents. Okay, so here we have 2 to the power of 3 plus 2 to the power of 4. So we keep the same base, which is 2, and then afterwards we just add 3 plus 4, which is 7. Then here we have 5 to the power of 2 times 5 to the power of 1, let's just say. And then we'll keep the same base as well. And then boom, we add 2 plus 1, that's 3. All right. You only add exponents when the bases match, okay? Now here we have the quotient rule of exponents. So the quotient rule of exponents just says that if we have h to the power of m divided by h to the power of n, we keep the base. The only thing that we do is subtract m by n, okay? So we just keep these two the same, the a, and then we just subtract these two, okay? So here we have 5 to the power 7 divided by 5 to the power 3. We keep the same base, subtract 7 minus 3, and that does not, that equals 4. Sorry for the mistake. So it would be 5 to the power of 4. Then here we have x to the power of 9 divided by x to the power of 5. We keep the same base, subtract 9 minus 5, and that equals x to the power of 4. So subtract exponents, top minus bottom, only works when bases match, okay? So only when the base is the same. Other exponent rules. We have power rule, we have zero exponent rule, and we have negative exponent. So the power rule says that if we have a to the power of m inside of parentheses and we have another exponent outside, what that means is that we keep the same base and we multiply m by n. So that means we multiply the one inside the parentheses versus the one outside of the parentheses. So in this case, we have 2 to the power of 3 inside of parentheses and then to the power of 4 outside. So what we do is keep the same base and then multiply 3 by 4, which is 12. Then we have the zero exponent rule, which says a to the power of 0 equals 1. So here in this case, 5 to the power of 0 equals 1, okay? Whenever we have an exponent raised to the 0, that does not mean it equals 0, it equals 1, okay? So anything to the 0 power is 1, not 0, like it says there. And then we have negative exponent, which is a to the power of negative n equals 1 divided by a to the power of n, okay? So here we have this case, 3 to the power negative 2. What we do here, first of all, we put a 1 on top in the numerator, and then we put 3 over 2 in the bottom, because that turns the exponent into a positive form, okay? So if we have 1 divided by 3 to the power 2, we can simplify this even more, which equals to 9. So our answer would be 1 divided by 9. So write as a reciprocal. Reciprocal just means if we have 3 here, the reciprocal of 3 would be negative 1/3, for example. So we're just like doing, instead of like a whole number, it would be a fraction, okay? So we have common mistakes to avoid. Adding bases instead of multiplying. So here, instead of adding the two exponents, we added the two bases, which is wrong. This is entirely wrong. So remember to add remember to add the exponents only if the bases are the same. Here it would have been 2 over 5, not 4 over 5. I mean 4 to the power of 5. Thinking any exponent of 0 equals 0. So this is also wrong. So 4 to the power of 0 always equals to 1, okay? Then confusing negative exponents with negative numbers. So 5 to the power of negative 1 does not equal negative 5. It equals 1 over 5. Just make sure. And then we have multiplying instead of adding, subtracting exponents. So instead of uh adding these two exponents, we decide to multiply. That's entirely wrong. The answer for this one would have to be 3 to the power of 5, okay? And then here we have a couple practice problems. So remember, there's so we keep the same base here, and that would just be x to the power of 8 because we add these two exponents together when they have the same base. 6 to the power of 4 times 6 to the power of 2, we keep the same base, and then we add these two, and that would be 6 to the power of 6. Then we have a to the power of -2 parentheses and then to the power of 3. So we keep the same base and then we multiply these two out because there's one exponent inside the parentheses and one outside of the parentheses. So it'll be a to the power of -6. Then we have y to the power of 2 inside the parentheses and then outside of the parentheses we have an exponent of 3. So we keep the same base and then we multiply 2 times 3 and that'll be 6. Then we keep the same base here because they both have the same base and then we add them up. -7 plus 9, well, that's 2. And then here we have 3x third, and then 3x to the power of 3, and then outside of the parentheses 2. So we would have to put 3 to the power of 2, and then x to the power of 6. And well, our final answer would be 9x to the power of 6. Because we also apply the exponent to the 3 as well, just to let you guys know. So our answer would be 9x to the power of 6. So thank you guys for watching this video. Don't forget to subscribe, and hopefully you guys learned a lot about laws of exponents. Thank you.